Yeah, what a wonderful month to be a part of America's history.
Hmm.
So I just hope everyone gets that second opinion. Very important to do that. Let's keep the fireworks going. Let's keep the excitement going, especially as it relates to our finances. Very important. So stay safe, everyone. Enjoy your summertime, and can't wait till next time.
If you have questions or concerns about reaching your retirement goals, then give Retire Ready Financial Group a call, 610-894-7415, or visit online at retirereadyfg.com.
Investment advice offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, Pennsylvania Registered Investment Advisor, able to provide investment advice in states where it is registered, exempt, or excluded from registration. Content contained herein should not be construed as an offer or solicitation for investment advice or for the purchase or sale of any security, insurance, or other investment product. Investments involve the risk of loss, including possible loss of principal. Please consult with a qualified financial, tax, accounting, or legal professional before implementing any ideas or strategies discussed here. Content provided is obtained from sources believed to be reliable but cannot be guaranteed as to its accuracy or completeness.
This program is paid for by Retire Ready Financial Group. All opinions or statements expressed on the program are solely those of Retire Ready Financial Group or their guests and do not reflect the views of WPHT or Odyssey. Today's program is pre-recorded.
Well, here we are again, and this is looking like a pretty lopsided matchup, Jim.
That's right, Ron. I mean, in one corner, we've got a 175-pound guy, and in the other, a 6,000-ton heavyweight train?
Jim, this guy has no idea what he's getting himself into.
Ron, the size difference alone is staggering.
Oh, unbelievable, Jim. And this guy is acting like he doesn't have a care in the world.
What is this guy thinking, Ron?
Well, this is one of those rare moments where I actually find myself at a loss for words.
I can hardly bear to watch.
It's no contest. Every day, people tempt fate and die trespassing on railroad tracks. Railroad tracks are more dangerous than you think. See tracks, think train. For more safety tips and information, visit ctracksthinktrain.org.
Sometimes, after service, it feels like every step we take sets us back.
I'm so sick of this. I can't do this.
Like we're getting buried under the weight of it all. There's always a path forward. We just have to find it. Listen to stories from veterans who've been through similar challenges at MakeTheConnection.net.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real. It happens every day.
You can recover.
Discover hope and help.
Never give up on yourself.
Join the Voices for Recovery. For confidential information for mental and substance use disorders, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Barry, Sable, and Friends on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
The Sunday morning show's here again with Uncle Barry and his friends. Turn it up and settle in. Time to do it all again. From diamonds and deals, let's do it again. It's Barry Sable this morning here on 1210 with friends dropping by.
Ha! Newman Price. Thank you for that jingle. Well, good morning. You have tuned into the Barry Sable Show with friends on 1210 WPHT in Philly. Thank you for joining me on your busy Sunday morning. Yes, I am streaming live on YouTube, Sean. I hope I'm up and did it right. And call-in number is 855-839-1210. So I would love to hear from you as I'm going to spend the next hour with you guys. And we have some interesting things to talk about. Number one, 76ers, LeBron James, good move. I believe that he could be the missing piece to an NBA championship. Also, an interesting happening to me last night. Took a ride to Atlantic City, saw Shakira, 14,000 people. Whether you speak Spanish or not is immaterial. She was phenomenal and great, and the place was jumping. And so was Atlantic City. Nice to see. So today, a very serious Uncle Barry. By the way, at about 10:30, Dale McPeak will be joining and telling me about her adventures in running for the surrogate office seat in Burlington County. Sounds like some escapade she's going through. Let's find out together. All righty. So the other night I was in a sound, peaceful sleep and starting to dream about some of my former accomplishments. Not a bad thought. Living my golden years of today, my dreams didn't remember me as Philadelphia's former Diamond Authority or a real estate developer, and furthermore, an on-air personality, but instead remembered me as a Walmart greeter or a job similar to that. Now, mind you, I have no thoughts one way or another on that type of employment or other occupations for all that matters, but conversely envision and hope that I applied my God-gifted abilities and from my parents' guidance and persistence and tireless hours of work, I ascended more of the rungs of the ladder of achievement. And at that climatic moment, I nervously woke up in a cold sweat, pinching myself a few times and thanking the Lord. I still didn't have to struggle and continue to work at this age to pay the bills and put the food on the table. Yes, I admit, was born at a great time in our country's history when our lifestyle was not so advanced and complicated. It was simply, it was simple then, really. People always answered the phones. There was no texting. In simplicity, there was an expression of happiness. We didn't use the words or thoughts such as stressed out or I need to simply stay home and relax. We were constantly on the go, seeing friends, family, and living a life of self-manageability. It was not always perfect, but by no stretch of the means easy, but we laughed, we smiled, we appreciated. In those days, I guess less equated to more. Riding our bikes, time well spent in playgrounds. I guess you get the point. We seemed to exist on purely what appeared as common sense. Not so bad. Conversely, let's, with some serious concerns, take a look at some of the examples of today's modified confusion mixed with absurdity. And I guess we all can understand why our kids are confused. Let's take this as an example. A Supreme Court justice was nominated. We all know Miss Ketanji Brown Jackson, who could not answer or was politically motivated to not answer what the definition of a woman is. Sean, let's take a listen to clip 1.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I can't.
I can't.
You can't?
Not in
Okay.
this context.
So
I'm not a
The
biologist.
meaning of the word woman is so unclear and controversial that you can't give me a definition?
Wow. Think about that for 1 second. I would just want you to think about mentoring young children, and they see a clip like that, and a Supreme Court justice cannot tell us what the definition of a woman is. Wow. Unbelievable to me. And this person sits on one of the most prestigious and influential seats in our country. And by the way, a few weeks ago, voted for men to be able to participate in female sports. Moms, dads, especially moms, wake up, smell the coffee, protect our daughters. And I just want to reiterate and make sure you understand, if you didn't know, Justices Jackson, Kagan, and Sotomayor ruled against women having equal protection under the law in sports. I mean, that's just like unbelievable to me. Or how about this, medical educators and physicians who tell us that it is not only a woman that could get pregnant. Listen to this clip. Go ahead, Sean.
Listen to this exchange between a medical doctor, and Senator Josh Hawley, who is asking a very basic question.
Yes, Will Kane.
Can men get pregnant?
Again, the reason I paused there is I'm not really sure what the goal of the
The
question?
goal is just to establish a biological reality. You just said a moment ago that science and evidence should control, not politics. So let's just test that proposition. Can men get pregnant?
I take care of people with many identities, but
Can men get pregnant?
many women that can get pregnant. I do take care of people that don't identify as women. That
Can men get pregnant?
again, as I'm saying,
Let me just remind you what you testified to a moment ago. Science and evidence should control, not politics. So can men get pregnant?
Wow.
You're
Hence, butt babies are not today's gems. Are these I guess these interviews with these Democratic prodigies, if you want to call them, that sit in waste our tax dollar dollars, if I could get it out, and we listen to this stuff and we pay politicians to interview these type of people. Well, honest to God, this is total foolishness. And or politicians that are voting for men and girls and boys sports bathrooms and acknowledging some men need tampons. Remember Governor Waltz? We listened to that garbage. Can you imagine if that nudnik had become a vice president of the United States? Furthermore, families not talking to each other over diverse political ideologies. Can you imagine what those family dinners and holidays look like? And lastly, a continued movement of politicians and naturalized citizens pursuing socialism and communism to replace capitalism and our country's economic successes. Different times, different strokes for different folks, which leads me to my topic for today. What many feel is America's 5 top enemies of concern. Let's start with the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party has made it abundantly clear they despise America, our founding heritage, and therefore will do anything necessary to dismantle capitalism, erase our borders and national sovereignty, subvert our elections, silence political opposition, and criminalize our Christian faith. Anybody on the Republican ticket, there is your entourage if you're running for election. We know that the Democratic Party has decided that they want to take away your guns so you couldn't defend yourself. They want to do away with the police, no incarcerations, open borders, take from the rich and give to the others. We all know the radical rest. Need I say more? I don't think so. Let's go on to the second enemy of democracy, which I would call the mainstream media. So let me read this. The mainstream media intentionally incites division, false outrage through selective and dishonest reporting. They will repeatedly disparage patriotic Americans and conservative policies, invent political scandals, and spread disinformation to reject common sense reforms, only to ignore the numerous historical, call it injustices. This is rampant corruption, don't you agree? And treasonous aspirations of the left. I mean, honest to God, this isn't good in any which way. And why the media reports this is a mystery to me. I guess big corporations, dollars going from here to there. Just do your job. Just deliver the facts, the news. Impartial, at least. Just try and be fair to both sides of the aisle. And let me continue. So we talked about 2 of America's top 5 enemies, the Democratic Party. We hit the mainstream. Let's go on to Islam. Where is that? I don't know where I have that. Oh, here it is. Islam, which has never had a reformation of its archaic beliefs, is completely incompatible with our constitutional liberties, a mortal threat to Western civilization because it seeks religious subjugation. I don't know how to say that exactly right, but you got the point. Over assimilation, universal oppression, in lieu of inavailable human rights Inalienable, not inevitable, inalienable. You know this. You see it. You feel it. Why are we voting for guys like the mayor of New York? You already see what he's doing. You know his allegiance is not to the United States of America. It surely isn't to Israel, which is an ally, but that's, I guess, his choice. He didn't participate in a parade of Jewish people in the city of New York. Doesn't that say something to you? He wants to have Netanyahu, which he has no authority to do, arrested. I mean, come on. How much longer do we have to see the Graham guy in Maine? Thank God he's not running Tallarico in Texas. This is an abomination to America. So let me continue. Make no mention of Islam's unyielding legacy of tyranny that has impoverished and murdered millions of its own brethren. When you're protesting, don't you care about that? In Iran, and that's another whole conversation about the war, but in Iran, they kill aimlessly. They killed 30, 40,000 of their people. I mean, let me give you an example that is really disturbing to me. Let me read this to you. While the world focuses on other conflicts, the Islamic Republic of Iran executed a 19-year-old boy this past week. His name was Irfan Esfanadari. He was his parents' only child. He did not kill anyone. He did not carry a weapon. His only crime, according to the regime, was opening the door to shelter protesters fleeing from security forces. Unbelievable. So here is a guy that, yes, all 12 were moved into quarantine, and then bingo, a lot of these young men that helped or so, he was one of the 12 men charged in this case where he was trying to help others. He was arrested. Is this a government so afraid of generation that refuses to stay silent, that it executes teenagers for showing basic compassion? People in America, we have to take notice of this. Why do a guy like me come on the air at 10 o'clock? I'd rather be on the beach, can I tell you something, in Margate or Ventnor or frankly on the golf course. Why do I talk about these things? Because they're imperative for all of us to know. It's imperative to discuss this with our neighbors, whether they're on the left, the right, or independent. These are things that are actually happening in America. Let me continue to the fourth of my top 5 enemies, communistic China, who is responsible for, many believe, for the great COVID reset, as well as some feel hijacking our 2020 election. Who knows? Who cares? It's just the point that they could have been involved. They're continuously conspires with our foreign domestic adversaries to destabilize our economy and currently purchase American business, farmland, steal military technology, sponsor civil unrest, and infiltrate our public institutions. Besides, they collaborate to position our society with fentanyl. And remember the balloons? So nobody worried about that. They were traveling halfway around our country, to be honest with you, until they were stopped. We all remember that. That was China. Think about that for 1 second. That was China. And lastly, and furthermore, before I go on, and we allow students to attend our institutions of higher learning that come from a country such as China. Why? Just to support our universities? No. This is no good, people. This is just no good at all. Lastly, the U.S. education system, through our own doings, we've allowed American educators to teach our children to hate their native country and reject our parents' values. We know this is true. It's been proven. We've seen this at board meetings. This is no mystique. This is actually happening. They conceal the destructive legacies of communism, democratic socialism, and insensitivity, indoctrinate students into racial, gender, and LGBTQ propaganda to breed violence They breed this political racism, which undermines our most basic social norms, respect for the law, our fellow neighbor, and the divine source of our freedoms. In other words, our sons and daughters are taught that they themselves are unequal. We're taught bigotry and liberal outrage. Listen, I'm up against the break. I have more. Let's talk about it afterwards. You are listening to the Barry Sable Show with Friends, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. See you on the other side of the break.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
A small business affirmation from Progressive. Food truck owners, today business will be booming. People will love your new menu and not make special orders. You will not roll your eyes when someone calls it a quesadilla. You will also switch to Progressive to get 30 customizable coverage options and restore your inner peace. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere. From dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
This is the sound of Lucy, staying on top of her spending. You see, even though she's buying a new pair of jeans, she knows that it fits within her monthly budget. Because Wells Fargo will send an alert if her balance drops below her set amount. Yep, nothing gets past Lucy, or Wells Fargo for that matter. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Pastor Brad Lacey here, First Baptist Church, Conshohocken. Join us Saturdays for the great message and be blessed. 5 a.m. right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code SMART to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code SMART to borrow up to $10,000. Use code SMART to borrow up to $10,000.
Now, you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Yes, indeed, I am back. You are listening on this beautiful Sunday morning to the Barry Sable Show with Friends. Lawrence, you're live on the air with Uncle Barry. What's on your mind this morning, young man?
Hey, Uncle Barry. I love your show. I listen to you every chance I get, so thank you so much for having me on.
Of course. Thank you for
yes.
calling. What's on your mind? You heard my monologue. Good, bad, and different. Let's hear what you have to say.
Well, for starters, I'm so glad you put MSM on your list of top 5 enemies to our country, because I have a major problem with them. I feel like they've done so much damage to our country that it's probably unquantifiable. But, I've got a really harsh take on them. But I kind of consider the MSM to be a form of domestic terrorists.
Yep. Tell us why. Tell me why.
Well, they've misled people. All of your bullet points are spot on. But I want to give you an example. For this to give you some evidence. Back in November of 2022, there's a video of Amy Robach, an ABC News reporter, who got called on a hot mic, kind of venting and voicing her frustration about how hard she had worked on the Jeffrey Epstein story.
Yes.
That she had evidence lined up, she had pictures, she had Virginia Roberts ready to go, intel on Prince Andrews, Alan Dershowitz, the Clintons. And ABC squashed the story. They wouldn't let her break the story. And she was claiming that she had this for 3 years. So this was in November of 2022. If she had all this information for 3 years, how many children could have been saved if she was allowed to release that story, Uncle Barry?
Yep. This is what bothers me. Listen, I'm not an historian on the media, but I will tell you this much. If the media just did their job, as I said, everything would be at least clearly seen for the American public to make decisions. And it does affect everybody. I got to tell you the truth. The 300,000 kids that I think, who knows how many exactly, are still missing that cross the border, that bothers me. Why isn't the media talking about that all the time? We need to help find these kids. You never see anything like that on the air. That's upsetting to me.
Sure is. It sure is. And I have to say, though, both sides are kind of guilty of this criticism. It's not just one side or the other. They have different approaches to the way that they control people's thoughts and minds. But, it's all about look here, not there. They give you some truths, but they cleverly word things and use deceptive practices, just like you said. And it creates an instant division and causes people to pick a side.
Yep.
And now, look, we're talking about what one side's saying versus what the other side is saying, instead of focusing on what the problem is. Look here, look there. And it's allowed so much bad to happen to our country.
Yep.
While we're not looking and we're fighting over all this stuff, we're getting rights taken away. We're getting our freedoms taken away. And they do it in a very clever way, just taking little nibbles at a time so we get accustomed to it. It doesn't hurt. Yep. Next thing you know, they're taking away 60% of our money through various taxes, regulations, fees, and licenses. And we're sitting here going, how did this happen? I think our founding fathers are turning over in their graves.
Yeah, I agree with you. So let me take you down this path then. We'll have you on the line. Patriotism is not only a pride in the nation's achievements, but also a commitment to its founding ideas. Okay, and ideals, liberty, self-government, and equal justice. This is the mainstay. Under the law and the belief that every generation has a responsibility to preserve and strengthen those principles. Lawrence, I don't see that happening in America today. And you could see that right now we are absolutely, there's a movement that is pushing for our economic system to be different. Why would you want to change? You're the greatest country on earth. Why would you want to change to something different that's failed in Venezuela and so many other places? I guess it's all greed and power, my friend.
I think that's pretty much it. I don't know why they would want to go to some sort of socialist type of system. It's failed everywhere. That's a great question. I think it's just all part of this, takedown of our country coming from inside. But yeah, that's a question I can't really answer.
Well, let me leave you this thought before we go to break. Honestly, what I actually fear is a substantial amount of weak Americans who are too cowardly, too easily brainwashed, or addicted to virtual signaling. I finally got that out. And can't distinguish between actual reality and the false illusion of socialism and a free society. All they want is gifts. I wasn't raised that way. I'm sure you weren't raised that way. What in the world is going on?
It's just part of this. It's part of this takedown of our country. And I think it stems from something else you had mentioned, which is our education system. I've got some interesting things I'd love to share with you about that.
Go ahead quickly. We've got a minute or two before we take a break. Go ahead, Lawrence.
Okay. Well, before I say that, though, I do want to say this isn't an indictment of our teachers. We have really great teachers in our schools, and they have such an important job. My dad is a retired school teacher. But this comes from above them and goes way back to the early 1900s, when the Rockefellers basically bought and reshaped our education system. Starting in 1902 with the General Education Board. It started off with a $1 million donation, which would be equivalent to $37 million today. And they wanted their curriculum, they wanted their methods, they wanted to be taught the way they wanted it to be taught. And it was working out so well that in 1940 they upped that donation to the NEA and the GEB to, you ready for this? $7.5 billion. Wow. Billion with a B. That would be a equivalent of $128 billion today. And they reshaped everything. And there's a guy, Frederick T. Gates, has a pretty interesting quote that sums it up when he wrote, "The goal of education is not to create philosophers or men of learning, but to mold compliant workforce for industrialists."
There you go. And I agree with that.
They wanted worker bees, and it's pretty interesting when you look at how school teaches you for a job. Go show up when we tell you, take a break when we tell you, eat when we tell you, leave when we tell you, and that's exactly how a job is today. They wanted worker bees, they wanted consumers, and now it's all firmly entrenched, and I think that's a big root of our problem. And now today, like you said, they've got these books in schools that are sexualizing children, and you can't even talk about it at these school board meetings. They get shut down, but yet it's okay for these grade school kids to hear these things.
I know.
Terrible.
Well, let me say this much before we go to a break. I had a clip, and I don't know if I'll have time to pull it up today, where in one of these congressional hearings, there was a lady that represented the Smithsonian Institute, and for some reason, I don't know why, they're bringing pornography for children to view. It's despicable. Why, oh, why, Lawrence, would we do that? I have no idea. Listen, I've got to let you go. I'm up against a break. You are listening to the Barry Sable Show with Friends. Great call, by the way. Thanks for calling in. Before we take a break, Sean, let me read this. Society says a baby in the womb isn't a baby, but a man in a dress is a woman. Grab a hold of that. You are listening to the Barry Sable Show with Friends. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on this beautiful Sunday morning. I hope everybody is out taking advantage of this great weather. See you on the other side of the break.
It's that time of year when the Zioli Army becomes the Zioli Navy and we storm the beaches of Cape May. Hey, it's Rich Zioli. We're going to be live at the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey, Friday, August 7th for a 4-hour show, just like the good old days, 3 to 7 p.m. at the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey. So come on a Friday in August and enjoy your fellow friends. Make some memories together with me at the Grand Hotel of Cape May, Friday, August 7th. See you there.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
You've always had great legs. The kids came along. You had a few more birthdays. And then the varicose veins showed up. What if I told you USA Vein Clinics could take care of those in 15 minutes and most insurance will cover the cost? No downtime, no hospital stays. Go to usaveinclinics.com or call 267-223-7162. That's 267-223-7162.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $3 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
When it comes to our cars, those infotainment screens, turbos, advanced transmissions, and cameras are all great until they fail. And if your car is out of warranty, repairing them can cost thousands. I'm Danica Patrick. If your car is less than 20 years old, no matter the mileage, make sure you're covered for auto repair bills with an auto protection plan from Endurance. They've paid out hundreds of millions in claims and helped drivers with plans that cover engine, drivetrain, electrical system, transmission, and more. Endurance gives you straightforward claims processing and direct payment to your certified mechanic. And your rate won't go up no matter how many claims you file. When your check engine light comes on, don't ignore it because you're worried about a big auto repair bill. Call Endurance and choose the plan that's right for you. Act now and get 1 year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
For your fast free quote, call 800-689-1536. 800-689-1536. 800-689-1536.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Yes, indeed, I am back. You are listening to the Barry Sable Show with friends on this beautiful Sunday morning. Let me remind everybody, Winston Churchill said it many years ago, socialism is a philosophy of failure, the creed of ignorance, and the gospel of envy. Its inherent virtue is the equal sharing of misery. Misery. Dale McPeak, correct me if I'm wrong, you are running and nominated for the Circuit's office in Burlington County in South Jersey on the platform that you want to modernize court and bring it into the 21st century. I'm going to ask you to please explain in a minute. I want you to tell me about how you overcame great odds to win as a write-in candidate by 334%. Is it true you needed 269 votes and you received 1169 or 1168? Wow, big numbers. Dale McPeak, welcome to the Barry Sable Show with friends.
Good morning, Uncle Barry. How are you?
I'm doing great, my friend. It was a pleasure seeing you yesterday. You were, and you could tell us a little bit, you were in Columbus, New Jersey at the fair. Why don't you start out and tell us quickly what happened there yesterday so I could get on to bigger events with you?
We had a whole week of absolutely beautiful weather. Mm-hmm. A lot of patriots coming out to our tent to thank us for what we're doing. Some of them have seen our recent press release and are excited that we're challenging these illegal votes. And it was just a wonderful week of getting to talk to people, hear what their issues are, and sort of allay some of their fears.
Yep, and I understand that the big guy was there, our Justin Murphy. Am I correct? He showed up. And
Justin Murphy was there.
Yeah. Who else? Did you have some other?
Michael McGuire for CD3. He's running against Herb Conaway. He was there.
Good. Mm-hmm.
We had Joe Abeg and James Melton and myself. We're running on the Burlington GOP for commissioner and myself as surrogate. Mm-hmm. And we've all been out there all week trying to get people to get out the vote. To us, the most important thing is just to get out the vote.
Yep. Let me ask you a question. I know that you had an escapade, if I'm correct, in regards to the current Democratic chairman, where you had to get so many signatures. You had some problems with flimsy charges. Can you quickly go over that with our listeners?
Yeah. So in Burlington County, there was sort of a gentleman agreement that we don't contest each other's petitions. If a voter signs for you, then they want you to run, and we abide by that.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason this year, they decided that they were going to challenge my petitions. I had over 300 petition signatures in. I ended up with not the 269 that I needed to get onto the ballot, so I had to run a write-in campaign. It was very difficult to do. It's hard to win a write-in campaign. I got way more than I needed, which I really thank the people of all the Republican clubs and all the people that I've reached out to that went out and voted for me. It's very difficult to get a write-in. You have to spell people's name right. You have to do everything just so, or they'll throw them out again. So my guys did it great, and we got on there. I had 1,161 or 68 votes, and I only needed 269, so we did really well.
Great work. So let me go on and give a little bit of background. You were a teacher, if I'm correct, a physical therapist on Fort Dix McGuire, and you are an animal advocate. Am I correct in saying that someone with those qualifications would be a very valued person in a position that handles probates, wills, guardianships, and adoptions? Tell me why we should be voting for you.
Right. So I have a unique perspective because I've worked with children. I've worked with special needs children. I was a teacher for a long time until I had an injury. And once I had my injury, I fell in love with physical therapy and went back to school to be a physical therapist. And my favorite clientele was the elderly. I worked a lot of rehab centers working with people that were age 60 and above. I've had patients as old as 107.
Wow.
And it just gives me a unique perspective on their points of view, but also the empathy that you need to be able to treat these people with the love, care, and respect that they need when they're coming into an office at the worst time of their life.
Of course. Let me ask you a question then. When you see, where was my mind wandering to? When you see guardianships, adoptions, and probations and wills, does that seem like a complicated situation to you? And do you find that a lot of these people, maybe not knowing as of right now, end up in court because there's always confusion?
Yes. And what I would like to do when I become surrogate of Burlington County is to have local seminars throughout the 5 years throughout the county for people to come and learn partially some pro se work. Pro se means doing some of the legal work themselves to save themselves money, but also to understand the system better. So there are many advocacy groups out there that offer these seminars, and I'm going to try to take advantage of that and have them come into the county as often as I can.
Yeah, I think that if you once you get engrossed, and you will be in the winner's circle, I have confidence in you. I think that a lot of people really don't have a pulse beat of problems that exist in estate and probations. There's a lot of people that have been forced into court because their wills were not exacting. And that's a problem. And I think that that's smart. What you're saying is let's educate people to make sure that if you have a will, and you should have a will in regards to your medical and all of your funds and everything else, that it's clearly defined so we don't have to work as hard. Am I correct in saying that? And clog up the judicial system, for God's sakes.
Correct. And in the surrogate court, as you were mentioning in your opening, they do not have electronic filing in the surrogate court. It's the only court in New Jersey that doesn't have electronic filing. So when people have to have their lawyers go down to Mount Holly to deliver a motion or any kind of paperwork that they need to do, then that's costing the consumer money. They have to pay that lawyer to go down there rather than have the lawyer sitting in front of his keyboard and hit send. So I want to try to look into how we can get that court to be upgraded to an electronic filing system as well to save the consumer some money.
Yeah, let me ask you another question. Why shouldn't this be bipartisan? This benefits left, right, independent, and everything else. Why should this have to be so critical, like it's a Democrat versus a Republican, when this is for the justice of all?
Exactly. Well, this goes back to the 1688 New Jersey Constitution. This is in the New Jersey Constitution that this is an elected position because the king wanted an elected person to go into the surrogacy court and say, I'm the surrogate judge and you're petition is denied because the king wants your property, and then they turn over the property to the king. So that is from 1688, and that's well over the 250 years that we've been a country. I think it's time that we make a few upgrades to our New Jersey Constitution, but that one especially, and just bring it up to the current times and what they need to be.
Well, I think there's a lot of things, whether it be the Constitution, that would need to be amended, and this seems to be one of them. Before we go to break, and I leave you go, Dale, just give me a quick interpretation of what you think. The other day, there was like 6,600 votes, again, in the state of New Jersey. Found it's all over the nation now. It's all over Fox News and every other news media that wants to tell the truth. Give me your quick interpretation of what is known as fraud.
Oh, I appreciate you saying for anybody who wants to report it, because that is a big problem in this country. But we Mikey Sherrill made a mistake, in my opinion. She came out because of the lawsuit that was brought forth about the voter controversies, and Mike McGuire, who's running for CD3 Congress against Herb Conaway, he was one of the plaintiffs in that complaint. And once they filed that complaint, they decided that they had to go on the offense and not the defense, and come out and say, well, this was all the machine's fault and this was all Donald Trump's fault and it wasn't their fault. But by coming out with the number of 6,600, they're telling us that they're being transparent, but what they're really doing is they're being very vague.
That's exactly right. And blame it on the glitch of the machines.
Exactly.
Come on. Everybody kicks the ball down the
Trump,
field,
it's
Dale.
everybody but them.
That's exactly right. Listen, Dale, I'm up against the break. I want to tell you a little bit of a joke. Maybe I can make you laugh this morning before you go on to do all of your services. I know you guys are knocking on doors. You're doing a great job to get the Republican policies out so people understand what's actually happening. I'll leave you with this thought. My friend's son told me he wanted some McDonald's. I told him, if he can spell it, we can go. He said, let's just go to KFC. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Made it simple. You with me, or did I lose Dale?
Yeah, that was a great one. I love it.
Did you like to hear that? I love that, too, when I heard it. You're Dale McPeak for Surrogate's office in Burlington County. You've got my vote, young lady. I hope to see you on the trail. You are listening to the Barry Sable Show with Friends, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Dale, thank you for calling in. Have a great Sunday.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Of course, my friend.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
See Joe Conklin, Ray Dininger, and Glenn Macnow count down the greatest moments in Philly sports at the Ocean City Music Pier Thursday, August 6th. Get tickets at joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
The intense July heat is here, and Philadelphia humidity is peaking. Don't wait for your energy bills to skyrocket before realizing your windows are failing. Call the pros at Window Nation now. Right now, you can get 50% off all window styles plus 0 down payment and no payments or interest for 2 years. Get the energy-efficient windows from Window Nation installed in 1 day or less without the hassle. Beat the heat, protect your home, and start saving today. Schedule your fast, free consultation now at windownation.com.
With the high price of new and used cars today, many drivers are choosing to keep their vehicles a lot longer. But with the average car now over 12 years old, most manufacturers' warranties have expired. I'm Danica Patrick. If your car is out of warranty, a single trip to the mechanic could cost you thousands. That's why smart drivers choose Endurance. If your vehicle is less than 20 years old, no matter the mileage, Endurance could have your car covered for the drivetrain, electrical, AC, transmission, and more. And Endurance is with you every step of the way, from filing a claim to paying the mechanic of your choice directly. And your rate won't go up no matter how many claims you file. Call Endurance now and choose the plan that fits your budget. Act now and get 1 year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value free.
For your fast free quote, call 800-291-0342. 800-291-0342. 800-291-0342.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
You can now tune in to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Yes, indeed, I am back. The Barry Sable Show with friends. Uncle Barry trying to see if we can make things work in Jersey, Pennsylvania, and frankly, all over the country. Stanley, thank you for calling. You're live on the air with Uncle Barry.
I really do want to commend you for the program and yourself and the guests you bring on, because you give the public a voice, and that's something we needed. I mean, everyone has an opinion about what is happening to our economy and the way our government is functioning and the different parties clashing.
Yep.
The important issue that should come to the public is that we really need to protest, and we need to come together as a group of citizens, and I mean U.S. citizens, against this systematic dismantlement of our country and our Constitution. How dare they turn around and take the freedom that was granted to us and all those that have served and some that have given the ultimate price to defend our country and its sovereignty and the red, white, and blue. We need to step to the plate and force our legislators to turn around and make hard decisions. It seems like no one wants to get involved. They want to take a back seat because they're afraid, and I don't understand what they're afraid about.
Well, let me stop you right there. Hold on 1 second. First of all, great call, and I appreciate you hanging so long this morning, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think the problem exists, and I had this conversation with someone last night, is that everything for politicians is, I got to get votes, I got to get votes, I got to get votes.
Exactly.
So that's the problem, Stanley. If they just did the right thing, the problem is look, I always say, my line is, what's the motive? If you take the war, Stanley, what's the motive? To make sure that Iran doesn't have a nuclear, we know that. But I believe there were other significant thoughts. The energy cost and the energy securing of oil, I think that's important. I really believe that this country and this administration, meaning the orange guy and Mr. Trump, is that President Trump believed that he was able to get a regime change. He took out 3/4 of their hierarchies, and now they just keep propping up like weeds. So I agree with you. And it's sad because, Stanley, you're on the money. I mean, if politicians would just do their job for the right of Americans rather than prosper for themselves, I think we'd be so much better off, my friend.
Yes, I agree with you 1,000%, and it's exactly what you said. It's all about the vote. It's not about the people. Once they get elected into office, all those campaign promises go out the window, and then they've got an agenda. But I do want to ask you a question. This comment was made by George Bush during one of his addresses, the father, at about one world government. I've done some research, and I've seen that the Illuminati and the Bilderbergers are behind a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, because people look at me and say, well, you're a conspiracy theorist. No, the truth is stranger than fiction. And I generally and really truly believe that obviously there's an agenda that they have. Yes. There's a systematic dismantlement of our government, because that's the way they can come in and take over. And they've created a disillusionment amongst the public where they've taken our voice away. And like you had mentioned earlier, they're taking it little bits of pieces of it away.
Yep.
Now, what I don't understand, and it's okay if you don't like Trump, but you have to commend him for the stand up kind of person he is, and he attacks the problem head on. He doesn't beat around the bush like a lot of the other administrations and presidents have done. You don't have to agree with him. I don't agree with 100% with what he's done. But the fact that Doge was in place and found all those billions of dollars that were misappropriated in the fraud,
I agree.
Can you not compliment him? How can you not
100%, Stanley. And two things before I leave you go, but I'm going to ask of you, next weekend, I'll be here in studio. Promise me you will call me. I would love to spend 15 minutes on the air talking to you, number one. If you have an opportunity, I'd appreciate that. And if you give your telephone number to Sean, I'll make sure we get you because you're an informed guy.
Wonderful. That is wonderful. I always look forward to Sunday mornings for your program. It's informative, and I appreciate you giving us a voice. It's so important.
Yeah, but promise me when we get off the line, stay on the line. I want Sean to pick up your number. I'd love to talk to you. I will tell you this much before I leave you go. You're an astute guy. You know the deal. Follow the money. All you have to do is follow the money, and that's it. Listen, thank you so much for the call. Bright, intuitive. I'll see you next weekend. Don't disappoint me, Stanley. We need to hear from people like you. We have a caller. Who do we have? Do we have Kelly for 2 seconds? Let's take Kelly. Kelly, good morning. You were live on the air with Uncle Barry.
Good morning, Barry. How are you today?
Good, my friend. What's going on with you? Is this the same Kelly that called me about a month ago? There's some kind of event taking place, Kelly. Tell us.
Yes.
Tell us.
But first of all, I just have to say I love your show. Thank you so much for having you on the radio and giving us somewhere to vent and promote and everything. You're amazing, and I listen to you all the time.
Thank you so much. I'm single. I'm available. Let's keep going, Kelly.
Okay.
Tell us quickly. We've got only a minute or so. We're running up against the clock. The hour's almost over. Tell us what you're doing and when.
Sure. We are putting on a 3-day festival. It's in Atlantic City on the August 14th, 15th, and 16th. It's called Rewind 69. We have literally recreated Woodstock.
Wow.
We have 14 bands, 3 days, and 1 stage. We're promoting peace, love, and rock and roll. And back in 1969, that's what they did. They all came together as one, and they sat there together. They listened to music. They had a good time, and that's what we want. We want people to come out. We have all kinds of vendors all weekend long. We have all kinds of kid-friendly. It's family-friendly. We have a 2-for-1 sale going on right now. All you have to do is go to re-wind69festival.com.
Give us the dates again.
It's August 14th, 15th, and 16th.
Is this being held on the beach, or where is it being held?
It's actually being held at the historic Garden Pier, right across the boardwalk from Showboat.
Wow. Listen, I thank you. Let me tell you this much. Before August, what dates again?
14th, 15th, and 16th.
Before that happens, I want you to call Uncle Barry again. I want to promote this. It's going to be a great venture for so many people and families to attend. You're amazing yourself. Thank you so much for the call, Kelly.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hang in there. Have a great weekend. Do we have one more caller before we're almost done, or are we out of juice? Kevin, you're live on the air with Uncle Barry. How are you, my friend?
Great. And to follow up with Kelly, I'm actually helping her. Our charity is looking to be a vendor there at that event.
Wow, thank you.
So,
listen, we've got we're out of time. Give us what your thoughts are before I leave you go, Kevin.
Okay, Kale and Company is number 3 in all fundraising right now for today's Bend to Shore ride. We beat WMMR.
Right.
Go to GregStockerSucks.com to continue fundraising. I'm $1,000 short to be the 5th overall fundraiser. Not me. It goes to the station. But today's the ride. GregStockerSucks.com. Donate.
Greg Stocker sucks. That's my boss. That's funny.
He's my boy, too.
Yes,
he's my boy,
course.
too, but he knows the history. It's a funny joke. And we'll talk, Uncle Barry.
Listen,
we'll
thank
talk.
you, my brother. Have a great, safe weekend.
Welcome.
Dottie and everybody on the chat line, I appreciate you talking and building the personality of Uncle Barry on the air. Thank you. I love being on radio. I don't want anybody to ever forget. I want to leave you with this thought as we're wrapping up. If you light a lamp for someone, It will always brighten your path. The kindness you give away is often the same light
of your dog out of love and responsibility. But what if every scoop that you're feeding them is slowly making them sicker? Not because you're a bad pet owner, but because the pet food industry never told you the truth. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Blank, Amazon #1 best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. Dog food is dead food, stripped of every live nutrient that your dog needs.